Stop asking people when are they going to have children.
Yeah.
It's not easy for them sometimes to answer that question. Reason being is that we never know that maybe they have tried, a couple of times to have children, and maybe they are not ready to have children, but they want to, but are not ready. So it's up to them, because there's actually no time frame when you should have children. It's like there's actually no time frame for when you're supposed to get married. Another thing is, having children nowadays is not the same back then, I think, because most women, mostly they are working mothers. They would think about who's going to look after their children once they give birth. For me, it's always a gift to have a child, whether it's a boy or girl, but it includes having a good financial of raising a child. You have to buy their milk, diapers, clothing, anything that child needs to grow up. And I believe it depends also on the financial of their parents, of the ones who are raising them. So the questions of when are you going to have children is sensitive in a way. I'm not blaming people from asking that question. There's also no law saying that you should ask that question, but this video I would just like to share that if possible, ask different question. Some people might not like it. Some people wish they could answer you in a proper way without offending you. But as for me and my wife especially, the questions that we get a lot is, when are you going to have a second one? The thing is that we look at right now is our financial. That's the first thing. Can we raise another one? The next thing that we have in mind is who's going to take care of our children. My firstborn, when we're both working, we send her to a daycare. The plan is not to burden my parents. They have been taking care of me and my other siblings, so it's like don't want to burden them. But another thing is that people always say that having a child is a gift, is a blessing. I do agree on that, but on logical base, it's actually whether you can afford to raise a children or not. It's not whether you want it or not. But sometimes you have to change your plan if you accidentally have a child that you're not planning to have. Either way, we're back to the question of when are you going to have a children, or when are you going to add up your kids having children. Well, the one who is carrying the child is my wife, the woman, and it's also a burden for the woman to carry and to raising a child is absolutely a teamwork, both the partner, of course. But you have to ask whether it's going to be okay, whether it's going to be easy. Are we capable of having another child? But when people ask this, they don't really think about the question itself. I mean, yes, people they don't intend to offend you or hurt your feeling or expect a normal answer. But the ones who's answering the question will give answer that you might not want to hear. For me, it's like I always, who doesn't want children, right? But you have to ask condition of your wife, because she's the one who's going to carry the baby for 9 months, and you have to ask yourself, can you raise more than one child with all your expenses and your bills, your debts, your loans? When without child, people are struggling at the moment. So having a child is, for me, it's a choice, whether it's one child or two. It's like it's up to the couple. It's up to them when they want to have children or how many. Because one thing, that they're the ones going to raise up the children and they're going to take care of it. It's not gonna be you who will provide for them. It's like you're asking people, raise the child, give birth, and I will provide everything. You won't do that. Believe me, you just ask when are you going to have children. And that's one of the reasons that some people like me, we don't really want to answer that question. Sometimes if people ask me, I just shrug it off. I just see how it goes, or it's up to God, or we just can't afford another child. And I don't really blame people from asking that question. But through this video, I hope that people will think about how raising a child is, and think who is going to raise that child, who's going to provide for them. It's not from the one who's asking that question. So if possible, please don't ask people who are married after a few years and then ask them, when are you going to have children? Believe me, they are thinking about having a children. That's why they get married. They want to have family. It's common sense. Every married people, they want to start a family. Of course, they want a child of their own. And once they have one child, people will normally ask them, when are you going to add up another one? Everyone who is already married and have a child, they want to have a second or third. But depends. They think about it. Can we actually have another one? How's our financial? Because not everyone is wealthy or rich. If I'm rich, if I have millions in my bank account, and if my wife wants to have more children, there will be no problem. So there's a lot of reasons why people who are married, who doesn't have any kid yet, that's one of the reasons that I mentioned. It's financial, health condition of the mother, the wife who's going to give birth to that baby and who's carrying that baby for 9 months. And most part of it's those two, health condition and financial situation. It's not like when you have a baby, your financial suddenly change from 0 to 100, for example. In this modern world right now that we're having, especially in this pandemic and economy crisis all over the world, people trying to save as much as possible and and try not to lose their job or their income, as having a child is having an extra expenses. Thank you for watching, and I hope I didn't offend anyone. It's just something that came from my heart, and I just want to share to everyone, especially those who are enduring those questions every day. Just say honestly why you haven't have a child yet, or why you haven't come up with another child if you already have one. So thank you.